Hi friends, I am Dr. Pratap Singh Rathod. I have done MD in Forensic Medicine and today I will discuss about injuries. In this video, we will just discuss the introduction to injuries. Injuries, clinically it is defined as disruption of anatomical continuity of any tissues of the body. So in the continuity of a skin, if any discontinuity is there, that is defined as an injury clinically. Legally, it is defined differently. So legally, under section 44 IPC, that is 44 IPC defines it as any harm. So they should be any harm, whatever illegally caused. So wording is very important. The harm should be caused illegally to any person in body, mind, reputation, or property. So legally, injury defined under 44 IPC as any harm. So any harm which is caused illegally. So it should be illegally caused. Even the doctors can cause injury to the person while doing surgeries, which is done legally to cure the person. But any harm which is caused illegally to any person in his body, mind, not only body, the injury may also be include any harm may include the mind, reputation of the person, or even the property of the person. All comes under the legal definition of injury, that is 44 IPC. Classification of injuries. It is classified differently based on medically. It is defined to mechanical injuries caused by any mechanical force of any weapons like that. Thermal injuries includes any injuries caused by heat or cold injuries. Chemical injuries can caused by chemicals, mainly the alkalis, acids, like that. Miscellaneous injuries include like radiation burns, explosive injuries. Legally, it is defined as simple injuries and grievous injuries. Simple injuries are injuries which are healed completely. So these are injuries which can be healed completely. Grievous injuries are severe injuries, those which endangers life. So this comes under 320 IPC, and again in that there are 8 points which comes under grievous injury. So mainly any injuries which is endangers life is considered as grievous injury. Medical legally, it can be suicidal injuries. The person when tied to suicide may include many injuries, like he may try to kill himself by multiple injuries on his wrist, multiple injuries on the neck, like that. Homicidal injuries caused by injuries lead to death of a person while one person tied to another person. Accidental injuries mainly in road traffic accidents when the moving vehicle runs over the person, or any accidental caused by when the person falls from a hall, from a top, from very height, fall from the height, mainly cause to injuries. Fabricated injuries are injuries which are not actual injuries but are fabricated, in the sense certain chemicals like plant irritants can cause certain injury, can cause reaction in the body which may stimulate like injuries like contusions. So certain plant toxins like resinous can cause contusions which may look like injury but it's not an injury. Self-inflicted injuries to sue another person. The person may try to self-injury himself. He may try to injure himself and tell that that injury was caused by other person. Defense injuries, where the injuries were caused by defending himself. Mainly it is seen in the wrist, on the forearms. Those commonly seen because when he is trying to defending himself by attacked by other person. So these are medical injuries. Based on time, it may be antemortem injuries that caused during life when the person is alive, and postmortem injuries when the injuries are caused after death. So these are injuries after death. The person may be when the person tries to kill him, may try to harm him after death, or those injuries may be caused by some moving of the body parts. Those are all comes in the postmortem injuries. Now coming to mechanical injuries, which are caused by physical violence to the body. Depending on the causative agent, they are divided into blunt force injuries, sharp weapon injuries, and firearm injuries. Blunt force injuries are injuries caused when an object, usually without a sharp or cutting edge. So any object which is not a sharp or which doesn't have a cutting edge impacts the body, or body impacts the object. So here the body may impact the object, or object may impact the body, leads to the injuries. In that there are different types of injuries, which includes abrasions, contusions, lacerations, fractures, dislocations. So again, each injuries will be discussed in separate videos. Then sharp weapon injuries, it is caused when an object with a sharp or sharpened edge impacts the body. So any instrument like a knife or a koita or any chopper. So any weapon or any instrument which has a sharp edge is considered as a can cause sharp injuries. In that there are includes like incise wounds, stab wounds, and chop wounds. Next is firearm injuries caused by firearm weapons or any instrument which fires the projectile. Any instrument which fires a projectile is considered as a firearm. So in that includes guns, like guns, rifles, rifle weapons, shotgun weapons, also cannons. Cannons is one form of old forms of firearm. Those are considered firearm injuries. So firearm wounds are caused mainly by firearm weapons like guns and rifle weapons. Blast injuries, because any bomb explosion injuries, the objects are projected outside because of the explosive gases, and those can hit the body and cause injuries. Those all includes comes under blast injuries caused by explosions which releases gases and which causes projectiles which impacts the body leading to blast injuries. Now coming to thermal injuries are caused by cold and heat. Due to generalized cold effect, person may lead to hypothermia and death because of decrease in body temperature. Generalized cold. Local effects of cold may lead to certain injuries like frostbite or trench foot, where the certain parts of the body, mainly the toes, fingertips, gets enough cold, which may lead to frostbites and the part may get amputated. Due to heat, again, generalized effect of heat may lead to heat cramps or heat stroke, where the mainly because of increased sweating or increased temperature in the environment leads to cramps and strokes. Local application of heat may lead to burns because of dry flames or scald caused by hot water or hot steam. So any hot water or hot steam may lead to scalds on the body, which leads to blister formation, and rupture of blister may lead to injuries. Chemical injuries, because of irritative effect of chemicals like application of weak acids, alkalis, or plant or animal extracts can cause irritative effect on the body, which leads to irritation effects. Corrosives, due to application of strong acids or alkalis like hydrochloric acid or H2SO4, leads to corrosive injuries. Miscellaneous injuries. This include electrical injuries caused by flow of electricity on the body. It may have entry and exit wound. Radiation injuries caused because of X-rays, high intensity X-rays, UV radiations, radioactive substances can lead to radiation injuries. And lightning injuries when caused by lightning injuries, and blast injuries because of explosions and hot gases and other effects of blast can comes to miscellaneous injuries. Now coming to mechanism of any injury. So any object remains in state of rest. So this is defined under inertia law. So every object remains inertia has an inertia, means it state of rest in uniform motion until it is disturbed by external force. So wounds are produced when the moving object changes the state of rest of a tissue, or the motion of tissue changes the meeting force of resistance. So any wound is caused when the moving object meets the stationary object like a body, or a body is itself is moving and meets with the stationary objects of a body with a force. So when the force is applied to human body, cellular components of tissues are set in motion and replaced by original motion position, resulting in discontinuity of wound. So because of the application of force, the skin tissue. So skin tissue, when it is killed, the force applied on the tissue leads to stretching of the skin and changes in the skin and leads to disruption of the skin continuity, leading to wound. That is how the injury is caused. Various factors influence injuries. Mainly, one is the nature of the object causing like injuries. That is, it may be blunt injury. Blunt object can cause blunt injuries like abrasion, contusions, or sharp injuries. Sharp weapons can cause different injuries. Amount of energy discharge. So, small amount of injury may not cause any injury, and even the small objects like bullet small object can cause deceptive can cause kill a person because of its velocity. So as energy of a weapon as a energy of the instrument increases, the severity of injury also increases. Condition of the time of injury, whether the person's condition is normal, if he has any diseases, may also affect the type of injury. Nature of tissue affected, whether it is skin, muscles, If it is skin, the force required is less. If it is muscles, force required is more. If it is bones, injury, the force required for breaking a bone is increases. So based on the tissue, affected tissue also, the weapon, the effect of injury differs. So same force applied to skin is different, muscles injury difference, and bones differs. So say one injury may cause disruption in skin, it may not rupture the muscles, it may not rupture the bones, but same injury can, some injuries like contusions or blast injuries may rupture the bones or internal organs because of exposure gases, but might not rupture the skin and muscle tissue based on affected tissues. These are my references. Thank you.